What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bay Rats and Buoys. I'm your host, Captain Gaige, and I have the pleasure of sitting here in the nice, warm studio with Ethan and Andrew from the East End Anglers. So excited to have you guys here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no doubt. It took a lot of planning. It
did. Braving the cold.
That's right. You jumped on in the booth last year at the boat show, and we had an audio issue where I lost a card, and I had the video, but I didn't have the audio. So, listen, things happen, and I admit it all the time. Life is full of surprises. But here we are. We're kicking off February. And no better time for us to sit and talk fishing because everybody at home and everybody in the industry, their boats are either frozen in their slips.
It's cold outside. We gotta make the spring.
Or they have cabin fever and they're itching at the bit to get out. They're chomping at the bit. They can't wait.
100%. You can consider this our therapy for the off-season blues. So we're very happy to be here. So
yeah, no doubt. And you guys came in from the city today.
We did.
You came out to Long Island to be on the podcast.
Exactly.
And no, that's awesome. So let's dive into. You guys had a great season last year. I saw the videos. I saw the pictures.
Yeah.
Caught a couple.
One or two,
And you're the king of some big fish. You go after the big ones, no doubt about it. And I even saw you out at the Montauk Canyon Challenge.
Yeah.
Well, I was working, don't forget.
Yeah, so that
I was working. He was working. I was mating on the two docks for the weekend. So yeah, it was a good trip that we had over there.
Right, but you represented the East End. At least you had the East End Angler on the boat. You know what I mean? That was big for the content, at least. And you did a great job too. You guys had a great trip. So what was some of the big fish that you guys caught out there?
We had, I think on that trip we probably had 3 or 4 big eyes. The big fish was in the low 180s. We thought he was going to be 210, but we got to the dock and he suddenly shrank 30 pounds, unfortunately. I don't know.
I hate when they do that.
We bled him a little too much, or I don't know what happened. But, yeah, I mean, the big eye fishing last year was so good, I don't know how many fish got weighed during that trip, but pretty crazy. They probably weighed, I don't know, you would know better than me, but 50, 100 big eyes during that tournament, and a lot of big fish, so it was a good trip.
Yeah, we had Chris Squeary on Bay Rats and Buoys at the New York Boat Show at the Javits Center, which you guys did get a chance to stop by Thursday. You were there.
It was awesome.
And Chris, because you're in his tournament, the Montauk Canyon Challenge, they moved it this year. It's not at the Montauk Yacht Club, and they're doing that for logistics reasons, just so it could run a little smoother. That's why you grow into things and move and see what works best. But he said to me on the show, he said you were there for the best day.
Yeah.
So the day that you came back was the best day of the boats coming back. He wanted me to stay for the whole tournament, which we plan on doing this year. Bay Rats and Buoys will be at the Montauk Canyon Challenge, and hopefully the Hampton Shootout.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Awesome.
And then the guy that comes in with the biggest fish in both tournaments is going to be labeled New York's offshore champion.
Yeah, I think the guy who won that last year was One Love. They won
One Love.
They won the combined category. This guy's 7. He was a really, really great guy. But for years, every time we've done the Montauk Canyon Challenge, they beat us by 1 pound. The past 3 seasons.
That hurts.
Really hurts.
Yeah.
100%. But they're good fishermen, and DeCabia is captaining that boat. So,
Now, you weren't on the boat in the tournament, but they were FaceTiming you.
That they were.
Turning the screws and letting you know what you were missing out on. We all know what that's like. Because I can't.
It had to rub it in. And I not only from Ethan, but also from my dad and also from our captain, Jamie Hummel. So all 3
Jamie
of them,
the captain,
3
right.
simultaneous FaceTimes. I'm like, there can only be one thing. Either the boat's sinking or they're catching a tuna.
And when Jamie's FaceTiming you that it's because there's a big tuna in the background.
100%. And they just love to rub it in. Love to rub it in.
And we all do that. We all text, we text buddies when we're fishing and catching fish, and we say to them, hey, how's work going today? Yeah. And then they see us holding up a 40-pound striped bass, and they're like, we hate you.
Exactly.
Now with Starlink, you don't even have to wait till you get home. You just FaceTime them while you're out there and give them a live action update of what they should be doing.
Where in the past you had to wait because, or you had to use the sat phone.
Yeah, exactly.
And charge the call, and,
oh my God.
Nobody wants to do that anymore. So Satlink is, the Starlink is really a game changer.
Oh yeah.
And as far as some of the technology, and I'll say this because guys on my dock are big on tuna. Corey, my mate, he had a whole bunch of trips last year. The technology has really changed as guys finding the thermocline and the warmer water to find where they're going to get on fish, easy, hopefully, find them better. Yeah. And you do the same thing?
Yeah, technology, reporting. I mean, we work with Canyon Runner too, and they've got a great a great membership program where kind of they'll give you updates on how the fishing is, and go through water analysis with you and kind of understand, just teach you what you should be looking for when you get out there. I mean, our fishery is very patterned, right? The fish are coming in at certain times, feeding on certain food, or depending on the season, and just understanding those patterns year to year, little intricacies and whatnot is what separates the good guys from the decent guys from the bad guys. But we're no experts by any means. We try to get out there and find a temperature break and work it, and work hard out there. It's all that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why that technology really is in effect. Guys that call me, and they can actually tell their friends that are out there where to go.
100%.
That they're a mile off west of where they should be.
And we can't tell you how many times we've had that sort of situation. Like Canyon Runner's been an example of that, or just our network, where I always describe to people who don't fish, they're like, "Oh, the ocean's huge. How do you know where to go?" And it's literally a desert with pockets of life constantly moving around. And like there's so much, to Ethan's point, of pattern recognition that goes into that, whether that's chlorophyll levels or moon phases or temp breaks, etc., currents. And so we've already been on trips. We've gone out there. We thought we had good intel, and everything lined up except the fish. We saw life, we saw bait, we saw everything, and no fish. And then we'll get a text from one of our buddies. "Oh, I'm 10 miles east of you. Like, come meet me. We're hammering yellowfin." And we get there and we caught like a dozen, within like an hour.
Yeah, especially for us. I mean, we all have full-time jobs. As much as we'd love to fish every day of the year, we're not on the water, 200 days a year like some of these guys. And for us, staying on top of everything so we can maximize the amount of time that we have offshore is super important, because, I mean, for me to go canyon fishing, it's $3,000 in gas, and you add ice and you add bait and whatever. So it's expensive, and not even just expensive. It's just the time that you have to spend to get out there. It's a limited opportunity. So,
and especially like for weekend warriors like ourselves, right? It's like we have pride. A lot of people are like, "Oh, like, you guys aren't fishing all the time, like yada yada." And that is true. Like, we're not. It's not our full-time job. Hopefully one day it can be, right? But, I can't tell you how many stories, like Ethan, myself, or Will, it's like we're leaving our office at like, let's say 8 or 9 p.m. on a Friday, and I have my suit on from work, and then I go right to the boat, and, you want me to continue, by the way, or should I?
Keep going,
Okay, all right, cool. And I go right from, the office to the car in my suit. I get to the boat. I take off the suit, I put on the Grundens, get right on the boat, run out to the canyon, probably like an hour or two of sleep on the way. I mean, we have those bean bags that help. And these guys always make fun of me. I'm always the big sleeper on these trips.
Yeah, Andrew doesn't fish. He just sleeps.
I sleep.
He gets better sleep in the canyon.
I'm like, "Guys, I slept so well. How'd you sleep last night?" They're like, "Well, Andrew, you were asleep the whole time. We were working the line, so we don't feel as well rested." No, but jokes aside, for people like us who it's like, right from my office to the boat, I mean, you have to optimize that time on the water as much as you can.
Absolutely. You have windows.
Yeah.
It's a window of opportunity,
100%.
and Mother Nature plays a big part in that well. You get out there in a 16-foot waves, and it's like,
oh, yeah,
this is the window I had.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
And,
Especially if we're going in Will's like 27-foot blackfin.
Yeah, we do some big trips in some little boats.
We do.
We're not afraid of it, but
Yeah, no doubt. And
maybe a little afraid sometimes, but
yeah, maybe occasionally.
So now, Ethan, the last time I saw you were actually in Montauk, fishing the Montauk Canyon Challenge. But you fish out of Jersey, a lot.
Yeah. My boat is based out of Jersey City, so a little different fishery than we have, out east. Same sort of fish. Everything obviously passes my area to get out east, so I find some fish a little bit earlier than the guys out east. But we've had epic fishing the past couple of years. I mean, I can't tell you how good the bluefin fishing's been the past couple of years. I mean, our bass fishing, it's just like, I feel like we're getting into a golden age of our fishery. We catch cobia now. We never caught cobia in Long Island and in New Jersey. So yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's been cool to learn the east end a little bit better. I actually grew up fishing in Montauk my entire life, so it's changed a lot since I was there, 15 years ago. But it's really cool that I met these guys the past couple of years and been able to fish out east with you guys. So
are you gonna brag about the cover you were on with your bluefin?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, back in, I guess this was 2021. It was like the first year that we had a really, really good run of bluefins off the New York bite, and we ended up catching one probably like 7-8 miles from downtown Manhattan. And on the way back, I was like, why don't we take a picture in front of the Statue of Liberty? It might look cool. got picked up by some media outlets, and then everyone was in the comments like, he didn't catch that fish in the Hudson River. He didn't catch that fish in the Hudson River. No, I did not catch the fish in the Hudson River. But to the layman, it looked like it. But yeah, no, we catch them looking at the New York City skyline now. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, Rockaways is real big on catching tuna. It's a hot spot.
Yeah, we catch them, a half mile from shore sometimes. I mean, 600-pound fish.
Unbelievable. And we'll see them when we're like fishing bunker pods along Shinnecock, like South Shore. We're working bunker pods for like stripers, and of course it's always when I don't have the Penn 80 wides ready to go, like on the boat. The giants will just erupt around the boat, just all gorging on bunker, and it's like I'm striper fishing. Like this is crazy, and and I'm like maybe 800 feet from the beach.
Yeah, guys catch them on Mojo's bunker spoons now. It's wild.
Yeah, they've come in real close. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
we have a guy in our that was in my tournament last year, and he takes a 23-foot boat with a single engine, extra gas cans, and he goes out there and goes tuna fishing, following the draggers, and he gets behind them, and every trip he's been very successful. I call him Tuna Tom now. He's got a nickname.
Exactly.
Tuna Tom. And then you know who also did what you just talked about was Josh Jorgensen at Blacktip Beach.
Oh yeah.
He was holding up a tuna with the Statue of Liberty in the background.
I remember that. That was the same article.
And that again, everybody thinking, oh wow, I can go get one in the Hudson.
Exactly.
They don't realize, the spot burning that goes on with photographs.
Yeah, I know.
We were talking about that yesterday at the Copeg Fire Department Marine Unit Fishing Expo. There was a lot of guys there.
Yeah.
And there were some guys that, do tuna fishing.
Sure.
We came across some new products that we checked out, but we had guys that are fans of the Bay Rats and Buoys show literally come to the Fishing Expo just to sit down, talk with, just to hang out and see us and say hello. Great. So when you have loyal listeners and fans like that, it just becomes... totally. It becomes a lot of fun. Yeah. And you guys are really growing the East End Angler thing. You really have.
Yeah.
So you've been working hard on it too because it's content.
Yeah.
We're here. We're doing a podcast. So.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Exactly. Exactly. And you're going to grow into a lot of other things. And it's like you said, you have full-time jobs that get in the way.
Unfortunately.
So, they do, yeah.
Me being, past my first career, now I figured, I want to work on the water.
Yeah.
I want to work full time. I'm a commercial tow captain. Yep. I run a charter business. I got the podcast. We started a fishing club. We started a fishing league. So it's like you grow into these things, and it's one step at a time.
Yeah.
You can't just take off running. So you guys are doing a phenomenal job. I love what you guys are doing.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. And that's why you're here today.
Yep.
And so
exactly.
We're kicking off February here. It was 73 days away from opening day for striped bass, and even in the first week, you guys kick off. Tell us a little bit about the first week of April. I think you guys kick off for tuna.
We usually launch our boat in Jersey, April 1st, sometimes March 15th, but right around April 1st, and we'll have the bluefins come in, real early. I mean, they start to see them in April, early May, and that's when our bass fishing gets good too. So it's not that long of an off season now. I mean, we bluefin fished. I think the last day I bluefin fished this year was December 12th, maybe. And that was even a little early. I mean, I know guys who will do it all the way to Christmas. So at least we only have the off season's getting shorter and shorter as
that's
the fish
it. It's
are
a
moving.
3-month window that you take a break and you back out.
It is awesome. And Will and I always joke that one of our favorite parts of getting to know Ethan the last few years, right? Because Will and I grew up together, and then we met Ethan about 4 years ago?
Yeah, 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years ago. And now it's extended our fishing season a month on each side because his boat's in Jersey. So it's great. Because the East End shuts down, it's like sooner and starts later. But now because we have Ethan, it's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And I even pay for gas. It's great. It's all good.
Exactly.
People don't realize the expense. So we were talking about this yesterday at the show, and we were comparing it to striped bass fishing. And here was a piece of merchandise that was $450 for one thing.
Yeah.
And we said if it's striped bass, it's $300 for a setup. Okay, for a decent striped bass setup, and and we'll go on the low end just to use that as an example.
Sure.
If you add that same low-end tuna setup, just put a 0 on the end of it.
Add a 0 to everything.
Right? Just put a 0.
It's the tuna multiple.
And you can get the $3,000 setup for the cheap, for the cheap.
I always tell my friends that for the money we spend on owning boats and maintaining and going fishing, I could fish any charter I want, whenever I want, and, I fish as much as I want. But, I mean, we love it because it's it's a very complete process, from getting up in the morning, rigging the baits, all the way to, filleting fish for your friends and making sushi and whatever you end up doing. You get to own the entire process. That's what's so cool about fishing, and I mean, it's great, and we love doing charters, and obviously when it's convenient, but there's nothing like doing it yourself. Whatever it ends up costing. That's why we make money. What else we're using it for? Literally, it's not even a joke.
It's not girlfriends. It's fishing.
It ain't girlfriends. I'll tell you that. And Andrew and I are not doing that good on that part. So
well said, though. Yeah, that's what we all aspire to: is fish all the time. If we could fish all the time and get paid to do it, we would do it.
Yeah,
100%.
Absolutely.
But the tuna expense, just the offshore gas
serious.
alone.
Oh yeah.
Running 120 miles offshore is an expense.
I always tell these guys, I'm like, man, we're gonna know we made it if we get a fuel sponsor. That's our next. That's one.
When
Shell or
watch.
Right. Yeah. If they're watching this, there you go. We're right here, guys.
That's it. Mobile and all the other companies out there. Anybody willing to donate some gas?
There you go.
The East End anglers are the ones you're going to want to put the fuel in.
Yeah, seriously, we use a lot of it.
We do, and we have the fuel bladders too. We'll load up Will's boat with, we have 200-gallon fuel bladders.
Sure.
The tank is 180 gallons. So we're over doubling our capacity.
Right.
And that is it's quite a bit of fuel. So
not only is it quite a bit of fuel, but just want you guys to know what that equates to. You got a 200-pound gas bomb on your boat.
Yeah, exactly.
That you're driving out with, because my buddy does it on his 380 Outrage.
Yeah.
They put a 50 or a 75 gallon bladder so they get out there.
On the bow of the boat.
Exactly. But it's better for the diesel guys that have to put the bladder on, because you could throw a cigarette into the diesel.
Oh yeah,
and it's not gonna.
I have a diesel on my boat, but I carry an extra 200 gallons right in the middle of the cockpit, and that's why once you're putting out your trolling lines and you haven't drained the fuel bladder, you're dancing around the fuel bladder to put out your values. Yeah. Make sure you don't puncture it with a hook or something.
Wouldn't be good. It is, jokes aside, definitely a process that you have to pay a lot of attention to, 100%. And you can't screw around. And to Ethan's point, right? It's you run out there and then you fill up right away as much as you can. So
that's
you
right.
just want to minimize the amount of space.
That's right. Put less fuel sitting on the deck of the boat, because that's where it is.
100%.
And
make it happen though. I mean, that's what the whole brand is about, and what we kind of try to communicate, I would say, to our through our media and whatnot, is if we just make it happen however we can. I mean, we work full-time jobs, we live in the city. When I tell people I'm going tuna fishing, when I'm out at a bar on Thursday night up too late, when I should probably be getting a rest so we can fish the next day, but doing whatever we do. You're going tuna fishing tomorrow. What do you mean you're going tuna fishing tomorrow? It's first of all, they have no idea what takes to go put into it. I mean, no idea. No. It's where are you going tuna fishing? How?
Exactly. It is also about being strategic, right? In terms of from a content perspective, right? Since we're only fishing on weekends and for only part of the year, it's you got to stockpile a lot of content to get you through the winter, and or spread out stories during the week, right? And we're always upfront about that. We're this isn't today. But you'll still have people message us who are it's me in a bathing suit in February catching a mahi, and they're wow, is this today? And I'm not quite, actually. This wasn't today. But it's definitely I think a skill to be able to keep that stuff going consistent over time, for sure.
Yep.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. That's no easy feat, but you guys are so consistent in getting out there that you get rewarded. Now we have every fisherman out there has great stories of the epic failure that we've had, and it's even a bigger failure when the tuna, when the gear breaks. Guys were talking yesterday that something snaps, and it was a bad hook set, and the hook came out. You see it on wicked tuna all the time.
Oh yeah,
and how they get it close to the boat, and then the hook comes out, and they pull it all up, the gear's intact.
Yeah,
and the fish is gone.
Yeah.
But talk about some of the big ones that got away, because that's what keeps us going out out there.
Yeah.
It really is.
And those are always the biggest ones, the ones that get away.
Yeah, and the story they can be as big as you want them to be.
Exactly. Oh, it was 400 pounds. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
That's why it got away.
Elephant? Oh, no, it was 400 pounds. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So funny. Yeah,
now,
that does happen.
People don't realize the identifying the fish, too, because tuna are not so easy to identify what species it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
That they have actually had to send a tail to send the fish to a lab to do a DNA on it to figure out whether it was a long fin or a yellow fin or.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that incredible that these fish, you can see them and still not know which one you caught?
Oh, 100%. And some of them are similar, some are different. Albacore, at least, they have the longer fins. It's a little easier. I think when I started tuna fishing years ago, I think big eyes and bluefin would be where I'd get confused.
Yeah, those big eyes, those little big eyes, and the yellowfins always look exactly the same too.
Yeah, that too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, last year I did my first tuna trip where I took my nieces and nephews out of Port Everglades. Mm-hmm. We went for tuna and sailfish.
Oh, nice.
Turns out I hooked into a small blackfin tuna.
Oh yeah, I see.
And now I'm thinking, and we're getting it close to the boat. It's doing its little thing, and it's pinwheeling or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm keeping the rod, keeping it tight, and getting him in and getting him close. And here he is. And the captain's yelling down, that thing's huge. And I'm seeing, it's small, to me, it looks like a penguin, and I'm watching Wicked Tuna, and I'm seeing huge tuna the size of a van. And he's yelling that thing's huge for a black. So I didn't realize that was big for that
the
species of fish.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That it was, like a 35 pound or a 30 pound.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They don't get huge. And I fished in, Ethan obviously, because he has a boat there, fished in St. Thomas. I coincidentally, before we knew each other, used to go there all the time. And we'd fish down there. We'd always blackfin tuna fish just like that. And I remember every time it's like you're pitching live baits or you're jigging for them. And every time, like, you'd see the tuna come because you're just chumming the water. Then maybe like 15 feet behind him, you see a big dorsal fin. And then it's like you have to crank those things in so quick, tight up the drag.
Yeah, sharks.
There are so many sharks down there. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, you're lucky to get your fish back to the boat.
100%.
Well, I was just in Venice last week filming a video and doing some fishing, and we were 2 for 8 on yellowfins. We caught one that was like 170, and then one was 130 something. But we lost 6 fish to sharks, and we got sharked literally in 4 or 5 minutes. And we hooked one that was 250 something, and got sharked in 4 minutes. It's crazy, the shark stuff. And we're starting to see sharks up in the Northeast now too. I mean, I never heard of people getting sharked out in the canyons until like the past few years now, and it's really bad, especially in central Jersey, like central canyons. It's getting bad.
Yeah.
There was a term that somebody used, and you probably know it. I can't think of it right now, but when you get sharked, there was a term that they used.
The tax man.
The tax
Yeah,
man.
the
Getting
tax
taxed. Yeah.
You got taxed.
100%.
Yeah. I heard that at my dock last year.
Too. It's a hefty tax sometimes too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, even like in big, we don't do marlin tournaments really, but you read articles about like marlin tournaments. There was one, was it last year or something?
Yeah.
And they caught like a record blue marlin. They were going to win a couple mil, and then there was a tiny shark bite in the back.
Yeah,
and they were disqualified.
Because of the shark.
Yep. Even though it was like a small little
tiny
gash.
little thing.
Yeah.
Oh, and I did read that article.
Yeah.
And speaking of marlin, sitting in here, the three of us right now, we're going to challenge Michael Jordan. Catch 23. I don't care if it's the Bayless, the Viking, whichever boat you're on, we're coming for you.
Exactly.
How awesome, he's in every tournament.
Pretty
The guy
sick.
is so competitive.
Yeah, they're doing good now too. They're catching some fish. They were struggling in the beginning, I think, and not calling you out, Jordan, but
No, that was me, Captain Gaige.
I'm not calling you out.
Captain
but
Gaige was calling you
they
out.
came in second at one of the big tournaments this year, so it was pretty
Yeah,
cool. They're
no
doing good
doubt.
now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I recently called out all the fishing clubs too on my podcast on a couple episodes because we created a fishing club.
Yeah.
And the guys that join the club have like ridiculous boats. They're amazing fishermen, and I was so proud to have them in this club that I was like,
Yeah.
all right, whoever's going up against us in this club is getting their ass kicked. And I was excited this weekend to call out a club that I knew that was going to be at that expo.
Yeah.
And turns out they fish from the shoreline.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I can't call them out. It's just not the
Can't
same.
list to that.
And they fished, they're the South Shore and we're the Long Island Sound. So I was hoping to see a club that fished the Long Island Sound. Well, I wasn't so lucky.
Yeah, fair
But
enough.
I do have a call out on anybody that has a fishing club out there on the Long Island Sound. So I don't think Jordan's answering anytime soon. But that would be, this seriously. Now you fish for tuna, so
Yeah.
do you aspire to catch? My bucket list obviously has a marlin on it.
Mm-hmm.
I caught my first sailfish in the blackfin tuna. So it's funny. I told you about the blackfin tuna that I caught, and a minute later we had a few kites out, and we were kite fishing.
Yeah.
And sailfish hits, kite goes, boom, and there's a line. I said to my nephew, who's in his mid-20s, I'm like, Donovan, that's all you. I'm like, I'm shot from reeling in this, this blackfin. Wasn't ready for the and the line went out, and I really wanted to catch that sailfish. It would have been the first one, but I let him do it all. And when I tell you, he was doing everything wrong. The rod is pointed at the fish, and there's no bend in it. And I'm like, Donovan, if you lose this fish, I am going to kill you. And he landed it doing everything wrong, and it was so cool because obviously the fish got hooked pretty good.
Right.
But Corey hooked into a swordfish last year. It was barely hooked in he got it, and it was a big one too.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna say like 120-pound sword. I don't know if that's big.
That's a good one.
We got one like not quite that size, but probably like 70, 80 pounds jigging, which is insane.
Yeah, we caught one on a jig.
We got a couple of them on it. And I remember Ethan kept getting cut off. This was like, what, October of 24, I guess?
Yeah,
probably?
only a year and a half ago.
Yeah, a year and a half ago. And Ethan, he kept hooking up, and I kept hooking up, and we kept getting broken off. And we're like, what the hell's happening? Like, are we getting sharked or something?
Right.
Finally, Ethan gets one close up, and we see a freaking bill come out of the water. We're like, holy shit.
Swords.
And we were,
Swords
and literally,
on the
we
jig.
had people message us, actually. Like pretty nasty stuff, it's like part of social media, right?
Sure.
People, you have to have things.
Of course, you got to take the good with the bad.
We like whatever. So we're not fazed by that, but like people are messaging us like, "This is so wrong that you photoshopped like a swordfish in, like, and you faked this, like this is staged." I'm like, I wish I had the tech skills, even if our tech guy. I don't know if we can do that to a live video. I mean, that'd be maybe with AI, but this was pre sort of that. It was pretty crazy. That is one of the coolest catches I think we have ever had. I mean, none of them were like big, but I mean, reeling them in on spinning rods.
Oh, that's got to be so much fun.
Yeah, I think we hooked 7 or 8 that night. It was a lot of them.
Yeah, and our sword baits, I think maybe one got touched.
Yeah.
The rest, it was all jigs. I think this is just so bizarre. It's like no matter how much you know about fishing, there's always going to be a trip or a couple trips where nothing makes sense.
Well,
oh, right. It blows you away, mind blown, because you're like, holy cow, that's not supposed to happen.
No.
And it did.
My favorite was on that trip. We had one on a float with a light underneath it. And
that was
it got bit, and Andrew's looking at the light going across the surface. He's like, "That's kind of weird. What's that light doing?" And there's a swordfish tracking the light across the surface. We try to come tight on him, and 130-pound mainline just snaps like with no pressure underneath it. We're like, what in the world is possibly happening? And we're just watching the swordfish drag this light around the boat for like an hour.
Kept swimming around the boat.
He was looking to catch more lights.
Yeah, taunting us, We're like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
He was taunting us. Yeah, that was rough.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
So, unless you have that on film, nobody believes you.
Yeah, 100%. Exactly.
Yeah, I told one of the other captains that I had a line wrapped up in my prop, and he was just like, and it was on a commercial towboat. And he was just like, did you have it on video? And I'm like, no. He's like, well, then it never happened. And I'm like, well, I guess that's right. So, but at least I tell the truth. I tell the story. You gotta listen. Things happen out there.
Yeah.
And you got to be prepared for it. So we were just talking about the different tactics that you got to sword on jig.
Yeah.
What are some of the other tactics that you use as far as, like, do you get any on poppers? Do you jig for them? Because when they're jumping around your boat, you probably want to change it up a little bit now that you're out there striped bass fishing. You said you can't get the 80 wide ready fast enough.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're out there and that does happen, can you switch up and go to the spinners and get them on poppers,
sure.
which is
100%.
Yeah, I think fishing is a lot of it's about preparation. My brother always gives me crap because I bring literally 30 rods on the boat. When I go out there, I got a rod for everything, and you never know. You'll be out there and drifting in the canyon, and it's late at night and nothing's happening, and then you see a school of tuna underneath the boat, and you don't have a jig tied on. You're not gonna catch that tuna.
You're gonna miss it.
100%.
You're gonna miss them. So
100%.
it's just about being adaptable. I mean, the sword fishing particularly, we'll do the nighttime thing, dropping squids and strip baits and that kind of stuff, and then we do a lot of daytiming now these days too. Daytiming has become really popular in the Northeast, and it's super effective. I mean, it's a long way to go to catch a swordfish, but it's really effective.
And talk about maximizing your time, like we were saying earlier, right? It's like you want to optimize everything you're doing out there. So, okay, cool. Right, so it's just another thing to do during the day. Because if you're going out to the canyon, right, usually trolling for tuna, unless it's like late in the season when you're chunking. It's a lot of sunrise, sunset, whatever, later morning. But there are a few kind of dead hours during the day, like midday, right, where the fish go down. It's like not much going on. So historically, we'd mahi fish around the pots, right, or tile fish. But now this is another tool in the arsenal to target some bigger fish during the day. So that's kind of how I see it. We do have buddies that will go out there specifically to target daytime sword fishing as a technique.
Yeah, they do well.
And they do well. That's maybe why we don't do well. We don't target.
We just suck at it. That's what it comes down to.
Exactly. And it is very technical. I mean, you're definitely I'd say that's more your bread and butter than mine.
Yeah.
Personally, but
you're talking about bucket list. That's my bucket list is a big 400 or 500 pound sword up here.
Okay.
That's the one. And then with a 300-pound big eye, that's probably top of the bucket list right now.
One of the guys out of my harbor in Huntington. He actually takes his Parker down to Miami, and he runs a sword fishing charter business this time of the year.
Yeah.
Really?
He does it in the off-season for New York. He's down in Florida doing sword fishing in Miami.
Yeah.
And that's all he hones in on is the swords.
Yeah.
And I said this year we're going to make our way down to Miami to go out with him and
you
see,
gotta do it. It's cool
just to see
fishing.
what he's doing. He's doing it on a regular sized boat like we drive around in our area, a 23, 24-foot Parker.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy, nothing big and fancy. And he runs a sword charter.
Yep.
I was like, that's
him in.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
know?
Also, Matt texted me. He's here, by the way.
Oh, cool.
Good,
So I'll go get Matt in. Yeah.
should we?
You guys,
You
want
want
to
to do an outro or wrap it, or do you want to?
Yeah, we could wrap it. We could wrap it up.
However you want to do it.
Yeah. So, let's close it out. Let's close it out. We'll close it out real fast. 'Cause
Okay.
I'll go get him.
All right, cool.
All right, guys, we hope you enjoyed this episode here with Andrew and Ethan. That was epic, guys. You guys really tell some good stories.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
And
Fun to be
absolutely,
here.
you guys are always welcome back to the studio. You know, whenever you can make the time and you want to come in and do some episodes on your own and do whatever you got to do,
Yeah.
the studio is always open to you guys.
Appreciate that.
And me and Corey can't wait to get out there this year with you guys.
100%.
And
We're making that happen.
do some fishing
Oh, yeah.
and collaborate on a video that we're going to make big and hold it up in front of the world and maybe in front of the Statue of Liberty and tell everybody we caught it in the Hudson. For all those non-believers out there.
Exactly.
So, yeah, man. Awesome, guys. This was episode 67 of Bay Rats and Buoys with the East End Anglers. Love having you guys in the studio. Captain Gaige, Andrew, and Ethan signing off.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys.
Over and out.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Bay Rats and Buoys. Be sure to visit sandcitycharter.com and follow Captain Gaige on all our social media channels.